Good morning. I think you can see me this Friday. I still don't know what happened last Friday. I was here. You just couldn't see me. And if Cheryl's on there, thank you for the card. That was so nice. Made me smile. I especially like the downward facing dog on the front of the card. That was really sweet. Here we are, Friday again, huh? So during practice today, we'll do some stuff with the feet, kind of weave it throughout the practice, but without a good foundation, the rest of the postures, the rest of the asanas aren't as good. We're not as stable. We need that foundation. Everything needs a good foundation. And our feet are pretty amazing pieces of ourselves. So let's explore the feet today. Meet me on your mat. We're going to start out in Sukhasana. And if that's not accessible to you, you could come into Dandasana. You could sit up on a couple of blocks for this. But starting in Sukhasana, let's start with a little mountain breath to begin with. Start with a little pranayama. So inhale, reach up, take that full inhale. Exhale, push down on the thighs, round forward. And then sit tall for one inhale and one exhale here. Let's do 5 more of those, your pace. Feeling the breath go deep into the bases of the lungs and then emptying completely, getting ready for that next inhale, that next big dose of prana. Two more for me. Last one. Wiggle your fingers. Let's warm up the head and neck a little bit. I'll do a little upper body warm up while we're seated here. And we'll get down there to those feet. And nod the head, yes and no. And then looking over one shoulder, over the other. And keep the shoulders over the hips. Drop your chin. I always like this little drawing a smiley face across the chest and then lifting the gaze. It kind of combines a couple of the movements in the cervical spine. And you might hear some pops and cracks here. That's okay. My neck always sounds like a big bowl of Rice Krispies. The older I get, the more parts of me sound like a big bowl of Rice Krispies. And then bring the gaze forward. Do some circles in your shoulder. This is another place where I sound like Rice Krispies. And that's pretty new. That's like over the last year. And go the other way. Imagine what I'd sound like without all my yoga. I probably wouldn't be able to move. Bring your hands together. Lace the fingers. Let's do some movement through the hands. And wiggle the fingers. There's no right or wrong way to move here. But notice that the hands and the feet are very, very similar, And look at all of this mobility you have in the hands, this dexterity, because we do lots of stuff with our hands all day, every day. So we keep that brain-body connection with the hands. Keeping that with the feet is also very important. And if you've practiced with me very long, you know how I feel about the feet. You know how I feel about shoes. Shoes, according to one of my very favorite teachers, Doug Keller, Shoes are sensory deprivation chambers. If you stuffed your hands in things like shoes all day long, you wouldn't have all the flexibility and dexterity. So take a foot, any foot, and place it where it's comfortable. If you can bring it up here on your thigh without bothering the knee, do that, but find a place that's comfortable. If you're like this, you can just bring the foot up here, find a way to get to your foot. And the first thing we're going to do is take the thumbs and massage. Thumbs on the bottom and the fingers on top. Massage the foot. So imagine you're feeling that foot for the first time. You're trying to figure out how that foot's made. Going down to the toes. Feel the bones, feel the spaces between the bones, and know that this massage is releasing the fascia, the connective tissue, hydrating it, and just giving it signals so it can signal the brain to release and relax. And then take your hands like you're wringing a washcloth. Take them on around the sole of the foot. I think you can see me maybe even from the side camera. And now take your heel like a doorknob. And we'll do some movement through the ankle. I'm trying to jiggle that doorknob. And now this is shaking hands with the feet or weaving the toes. We're going to place, doesn't matter if you start on the bottom or on the top, place fingers in between the toes. And it can be tight. It can be a little ouchy when you do this. And then you kind of shake hands with your foot. And if you can't bring all of the fingers between the toes, do a couple at a time. My toes are always cold. Now, from the top, weave our fingers through. And again, I've been doing stuff like this for years, and it's still a little ouchy. Just bring some space, some awareness, some tactile stimulation, flexibility, range of motion. So the toes are joints too. We need range of motion there. And then if you can bring your elbow to the sole of the foot, and this always feels good. And if you can't do that, you can just use the thumbs. And then bring your heel out here and building up these muscles in the front of the shin. The calf muscles stay pretty strong, but we need to keep these muscles built up. So we're just gonna point and flex. You'll start to feel the muscles here. These muscles are important. As we get older and we're walking, the muscles can get weak, causing the toes to drag. That's a big fall risk. And then we'll switch sides. On to the second foot. Massage. Feel all those bones. And know that the structure, the bone structure in the hands and the feet are very, very almost identical. I think really the big difference is the length of the bones. Fingers are nice and long, toes are short, and the metacarpal muscles in the hand are shorter than the metatarsal muscles in the foot. And then the wrist and the ankle, they're similar. It's all very similar. Let's do the wringing of the foot. And if your feet hurt, your whole day is bad. Bring your hand to your heel like a doorknob. Find the range of motion in the ankle. And then we'll shake hands with the feet. Feel, and it's like the hand. Feel that dexterity. Go the other way. Come out here on your heel. It's like you're pushing on the gas, but lift. It's the lift I want you to really notice. And maybe push into the heel as you lift. Add a little resistance. Building up these muscles. Anterior tibialis. I gotta look up the other ones. There's not a lot of meat here. There's some muscles, but like the calf muscles, very strong, very beefy. But we need to keep these muscles engaged too. Okay, pause to feel. Bring those heels forward again. We're gonna spread the toes, spread the fingers, make a fist with the hands, make a fist with the fingers, and spread. and make a fist and spread and make a fist and spread. 2 more. Breathe. And then come to hands and knees. So stretching through the plantar fascia, and we do a Tibetan sun salute, and that's how we begin this. So I want you to tuck your toes, and you might even need to reach back there to get those last couple of toes. Make sure they're nice and tucked. And this is an intense stretch along the soles of the feet, the plantar fascia. Set your hips back. Let's pause here for a couple of breaths. And again, this can be intense, so if it gets to be too much, you can take some of the weight off by leaning forward. Take 2 more breaths here. Now we'll get to a Tibetan sun salute, but I want you to come to table. Now place the tops of the feet on the mat. Hover your shins and your knees, so you're pushing down into the tops of the feet, getting a nice stretch in the front of the ankle, getting a nice core engagement, and then float the shins back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Focus on pushing into the tops of the feet, letting those ankles get a nice stretch in the front. Release and do 1 more time. And then release. And I'm going to come forward a little so maybe you can see on the side camera. So I've got the tops of my feet down. This time I'm going to kind of come halfway between what we just did and down dog. So I'm going to bring more bend to the toes. So you can see I'm really bending the toes back. So when we tuck the toes, I'm bringing them one direction. This is the opposite direction, and then float down. And we'll do that again. And down. 1 more time. And back down. Now I'm going to scoot back. Come back up onto the shins. Let's wiggle the hands. Let's move on to a Tibetan sun salute. Tuck the toes, reach back there if you need to. And as we move forward into our practice, bring some awareness to the feet. I'll help you with that. But we've really warmed the feet and the ankles, even the lower leg up. Inhale, reach up. I can't knock my candle over. Exhale, hands down the center of the body. Inhale, here comes our back bend. Drop the heart, Anahata Asana. And exhale, table with a cat back. On an inhale, lift into down dog. Stretch the calf muscles here. So we're going to hold and pedal. And then exhale, round the spine. Come down in a cat back. Inhale, walk forward. Anahata Asana, heart to the earth. Round the spine, cat back. Slide the hands to the knees. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. And exhale, the hands home to the heart. Seems like I added a cat in there. Inhale, up. And exhale. Coming out to your back bend. Pay attention to your feet here. Exhale, cat back, round the spine. Lift into down dog. Feel the feet. Since we're bringing awareness to the feet, every time we come up in this, we're going to pedal the feet a little bit. Exhale, come down into cat back. Inhale, back bend, Anahata Asana. Exhale, walk the hands or slide them to the knees. Keep the toes tucked. Inhale, up. Exhale, hands to heart, sit back on the heels. We'll do 1 more. Inhale up. Reach, exhale. Inhale. And exhale, cat. Inhale, lift to cow, or lift to down dog. Pedal a bit. Exhale, cat. Inhale, walk out, Anahata Asana. Exhale, draw the hands to the knees. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, bring the hands home to the heart. So I have a couple more things to do with the feet and the lower leg, the calf muscle. So I've come forward a bit so you can see. And I may turn so you can see on that side camera. I'm going to take, I don't care which foot, the top of the foot into the arch of the foot below. And then sit back. So you've got that bony part of the foot pressing in to the arch of the foot below. And you can wiggle around here. So you're getting a nice stretch in the tops of both feet, and you're using the bones in the top foot to massage the arch with the bottom. Come up and we'll switch. So some of these ideas, some of these things that we're doing, I got from one of my favorite references. It's called Yoga for Healthy Aging. They always have awesome blogs, and there's a book released quite a while ago, but it's just good stuff about yoga and healthy aging. So some of these feet things came from there. Some of them I've been practicing for a long time. Okay, next one, and this one can be intense. So now I'm going to use my shin bones to release my calf muscles. So cross your shin right at the bottom of the fat part of your calf. And this can be intense. So this is a self-myofascial release. And it's intense. So I'm going to support part of my weight on my hands. So self-myofascial release is applying pressure to the fascia, to the muscles, and eliciting a reflex, the Golgi tendon reflex. And you hold it for 30 seconds or more. And there are tendons, Golgi bodies in the tendons of the muscles. And after 30 seconds, they know that you're going to hold this a while, and the muscles will release, and you'll get a little more space in the muscles. That was a really strange explanation. Now go the other way. And let your shin right at the bottom of the calf, and you'll feel it. So we hold tension in lots of places in our body, and calf muscles can be a place where there's tension. Those muscles are beefy. We use them a lot, and if you wear high heels, any amount of heel on a daily basis, they just get stuck in a chronically shortened state. And release. Alrighty, come into a child's pose with me just for a bit. Wide knees, narrow knees, and just bring awareness. Now I'll turn my head so it doesn't sound like I'm right in your ears. Bring some awareness to the feet. You can move them a bit, and the ankles, everything really from the knees down. Breathe. And on your next inhale, let's press back up into table, right into down dog. Here we go. Walk your feet wide, left and right edges of the mat. See if you can spread those toes nice and wide. Bend your knees a bit, and then as you inhale, lift the sit bones straight up and reach the heels down. You'll feel that stretch in the calf muscles, and it might be a little more open because of that last stretch we did. Take the left hand under the body to the right shin and give yourself a nice twist. Breathe. And unwind. We'll take the second side, right hand under to the left shin, pull in, twist. And we'll do that one more time each side. If you'd like to deepen this, lift your right heel, reach around your foot, grab the outside of your foot, and then push the heel down. See if you can turn your heart more to the right, maybe even look up towards the ceiling. Breathe down into the belly. Unwind, take the second side, lift the heel. You can go back to the shin if you want. But this grabbing the foot and then pushing the heel down helps to bring a deeper twist, at least in my body. Release.
Bend your knees a lot. We're going to walk on the hands towards the feet. And then come up into our nice high squat. A light touch with the forearms, a light touch with the fingertips. Pull your feet away from each other. Don't let them move, but feel that isometric contraction in the outer hips, the outer legs, these abductor muscles, and they're supporting your back now. Nice long spine. Inhale, swing your arms out and up. And exhale, bring the hands home to the heart. Walk the feet under the hips. Find your mountain pose. Without even looking, find your mountain pose. Just kind of like a cat. Pedal those feet around. Feel the soles of the feet. And then plant the soles of the feet and sway. Feeling the toes grip. I tell you to grip the mat with your fingertips. Grip the mat with your toes. Like you're trying to pull the mat up with your toes, scrunching it up. And then come to stillness. Find that balance. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Ears over shoulders. Draw the chin in and up. Inhale up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, back to down dog. Now let's reach forward with the spine. So tuck your chin, ripple forward with the upper back, coming into plank. Unfurl the head when you get here. Find your way to your belly. So control your way down. If you need to use the knees to help do that, please do that. Inhale. Let's come right up into high cobra. You can do little baby cobras if you need to this morning in your spine. Let's do 4 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, long spine. Think of a willow branch, a nice smooth bend, nice supple, flexible spine, no hinges in the spine. I think I have 1 more, I'll last count. And tuck the toes, come up into plank, and right back to down dog. Swing your right leg back and up. Bend the knee, stack the hips here. Don't let the shoulders stack. Bend your left knee and then reach through the heel as you stretch the back of the left leg. Roll through the right ankle. Wiggle the right toes. And look under your left arm. See if you can see those toes wiggling. Square the hips to the mat. Keep the knee bent, and we're going to step forward. Externally rotate the back foot, coming up in Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Hands to hips. Right hip. Let it pull back a little. Left hip. Wrap it around. Then everything from the belly button up turns to your left. Arms out. Swing the arms down in front of you, circle them up and overhead, and then drop them like you have some helium balloons under your hands. Turn and look at your right fingertips. Now straighten the right leg. We'll come into triangle. So you're going to reach. Long ribs here. You're not folding. Then let the arm come down, keeping the side body long. Wherever that arm lands, reach up with the left hand. Play with your gaze. Look down at your right toes. Wiggle them, spread them wide. Look to your left. Look up towards that left hand. Wiggle the fingers now. Look down at your toes. Imagine I'm pulling you up by those left fingertips. Come up and find Warrior 2. Let's take a peaceful warrior. Left hand down the left leg. Right arm up, reach in both directions. Feel that nice stretch here in the right side body. Send your breath there to help. A big inhale stretches things even further.
And then back to warrior two. Now we're going to go between triangle and peaceful. But when you come into triangle, curve your arms. And then when you go to peaceful, you cartwheel your arms around and curve the other way. Let's keep going. Inhaling to transition. Exhaling to fold. Use the arms to stretch. Let's go one more each way. And then meet me in warrior two. Cartwheel the arms, hands to the inside of the right foot. Pivot now, so you're in prasarada. I'm facing the left. Little toe edges of my feet are parallel with the top and bottom of my mats, my little mat configuration here. Bring your wrists under your shoulders. Lengthen through the crown of the head, and at the same time you're reaching through the tailbone, but roll those inner thighs in and back. Press into the outer edges of the feet, pull the feet away from each other. Feel all that support in the back. And breathe. Now externally rotate the feet a bit, and we'll come back and forth into Skandasana each side. So side lunge, opening up the inner thighs. Those are adductor muscles. Adductor. Now walk to the top of your mat, pivot on the feet, and find plank. Let's come down to the mat. Maybe you're ready for up dog. So if you're ready for up dog, press up and then push into the tops of the feet and lift. Come back down. Let's do two more of those. You can stay in a baby cobra or a high cobra. One more. Tuck the toes, plank, down dog. I'm gonna move my mat, it's wiggling again. I'll meet me in down dog. Pedal here, pause for a moment of stillness, and explore the body for sensation. Lift the left leg back and up. Bend the knee, stack the hips. Now bend your right knee and then press into the heel or to straighten the leg. Wiggle the left toes, circle the left ankle, look under your right armpit and see if you can see all that. Now parallel the hips to the floor. We're going to step forward, left foot. Get ready for warrior two. Externally rotate the back leg. Warrior two usually has kind of a wide space between the legs. Come up into Vira two, hands to hips. So left hip back, right hip forward. It's not much of a move, but it lines up the hips in a healthy to the joints way. Now everything from the navel up turns to your right. Let's swing the arms out and then down in front of us, up and over. This is a way to kind of trick the trapezius muscles, the shoulders, into relaxing. Look at the left fingers. Maybe reach back to the right hand a little. It's real easy to lean forward in this. Keep the shoulders over the hips. Straighten the front leg. Coming to triangle. Reach. So I'm folding here. And then when I can't go anymore, I let that hand float down and land where it wants to. Reach up with the right arm, stack the shoulders. So that usually involves kind of a reaching back with that top hand. Take your gaze to your left foot, lift the toes, wiggle the toes, spread the toes down wide, maybe try to grip the mat.
And then look off to your right, keeping the neck long. Maybe you feel the muscles in the ankles working hard to keep you balanced. Now look up towards the ceiling, wiggle the fingers of the right hand. And then look back down at your left foot for stability. We're going to come back up in Warrior Two. Let's take a peaceful warrior, reaching in both directions. Reach. And use the breath to help stretch. Feel the ankles and the feet, all those little teeny tiny micro movements. That's your foundation, supporting you. Now we'll take that swoopy arm version of triangle to peaceful warrior. Swoop in the other direction, reach. This will be the last round. Now staying in Warrior Two legs, bring the hands to the inside of the foot. We're going to rotate to your right, pivot on the feet. Little toe edges are parallel with the short edges of the mat. Bend your knees a lot here. Walk your hands in line with your feet. Now look at your hands and look at your feet. The bone lengths are different, but they're alike. Arms and legs are alike. Look at the knees, look at the elbows, shoulders, and hips. Now as you inhale, send the sit bones straight up and the crown of the head down. If you have a little more space, turn the fingers behind you, reach back there, and breathe. Walk the wrists under the shoulders again. Externally rotate the feet. Skandasana, so side lunging, kind of a modified side lunge. And feel the stretch in the inner thighs, but look at the movement at the ankles. Look at the feet. And then coming to stillness, walk to the top of the mat. Step back in plank, drop your knees, big toes to touch, knees wide. Step back in a nice wide child's pose. So bring those hips way back there if you can. A happy puppy is good. And crawl the arms long, bring the heart down. And when I'm like this with the arms long, you could come to the chin. That's really a hyperextension of the neck. I like to turn my head. Now wiggle your fingers, massage the palms of the hands, circle through the wrists. And release, relax. If your head is turned, turn it the other way. Breathe down into the belly. And move your feet a little bit, so like we just kind of massaged the hands over the toes, so that you can do little movements in the ankles. Now lift your gaze, come up onto your fingertips. And we're going to actually push the hands down into the floor. So I'm going to push the mat away and send my hips back and down. Now come up onto your fingertips. You can drop your forehead to the mat. I won't do that because of the microphone. But let your chest sink. You'll get a little deeper stretch in the shoulders. Now lift the chest, push into the fingertips, walk the hands to the right. Flat hands, push the mat or the floor away, send the hips back and down. You can cross left hand on top of right or even past the right. Resting your forehead in your upper arms. Send the heart down, send the hips back, and a nice stretch in the left side body. Breathe into that space. Now over to the left. Same thing. Push away. Stack or cross. Breathe. Breathe into the right ribs now. and walk forward.
Come back to table. Tuck the toes. Down dog.
Swing your right leg back and up. Bend the knee. We're going to ripple forward into a three-legged plank and drop your right knee behind your right wrist, setting up for pigeon. Slide back with the left leg and take your time in this. Don't hang out in this right hip. So if it's not really supported, you can come over onto the right hip, or you can bring a block, which is usually uncomfortable, or a blanket or a towel under here. Now from here, before we fold forward, bend your left knee, bring it up towards your bottom. Now swing back with the right hand and see if you can grab your ankle. Keep the right chest open and then square the shoulders to the top of the mat. Now if you can reach back with both, go right ahead. I've never quite been able to do that. Not in the cards for me. And with control, release the left shin back down to the mat. And then crawl the hands forward, any amount. You can come to the forearms. You can bring a block, which is my favorite, underneath your forehead, or stack your fists. And settle into this nice hip opener. Notice the position of the foot. So it can be in two ways. If you're like this with your pigeon, with your heel close to your pubic bone, you can point the toes. So kind of the top of the foot is on the mat. Some people are able to bring their shin more to parallel to the front edge of the mat. If you do that, flex your foot. So draw the toes towards the knee. This is it for me. I can't bring my shin any further forward, but this feels really good in my body. Now tuck the toes of the left foot, come up onto your hands again, and then I scoot forward with that back foot before I lift up into a three-legged dog, sending my right leg back and up. And then drop to down dog. Swing the left leg back and up. Bend the knee. Ripple forward, three-legged plank, knees bent. Bringing the left knee to the base of the left arm, so the wrist. Now look at my shin. I'm on the top of my foot. If your shin's up here, flex your foot. Draw the toes towards the knee. Now I slide back on my right leg, bending those toes, and then come to the top of the foot. And then pay some attention to the left hip. And if you wiggle a little, sometimes you'll find some more space to come a little deeper. And you can always shift your weight over onto the left hip. Now bend the right knee. You might have to lengthen that leg a little bit. And the kneecap can be a little ouchy if you're right on top of it. So be above it. And I think you can feel that. I'm going to swing the left arm back there. See if I can find my ankle. And then open the left shoulders, square the shoulders to the front edge of the mat. Breathe. And then float the right shin down with control. Walk the hands forward. You can even come way down here. I'm going to use a block again just so I don't blast you in the microphone. And wiggle the toes on the right foot. Maybe even the left. Just wiggle around. Feel the ankles and the feet. And then lifting up. Now we're going to shift over onto the left hip and come back into a seated position. Come into Dandasana with the legs straight. Lean back. Open the chest. Now look at the toes again. Spread them wide. Make a fist. Spread them wide. And then point and flex and point. And notice here when you flex, you can kind of lift the heels up off of the mat a little bit. We're strengthening those anterior front muscles in the shins
And then come up on the sit bones. Keep the feet flexed. Reach high. Fold. Fold at the hip creases. You can keep your knees bent here a little bit. And pull to fold deeper. Just keeping a neutral spine. Try to keep the chest open. Try not to round. It's hard not to in this shape, but try not to round. And then coming back up, bend the knees, open them wide. Let's pay some attention to the feet again. Let's massage the soles of the feet. Feel the bones, pull on each one of the toes. Now slide the thumbs in between the feet towards the ball of the feet. And then open the feet like the pages of a book. Sitting tall, start to fold forward. Lead with the heart, maybe the forearms, find the shins, pressing into the shins, just gently, and then let the shins resist. And gradually open through the hips. Squeeze the glutes together, feel the hips open a little more. You've kind of externally rotated the thighs and the hip socket. Made a little more space. And then rise up. Bring the knees together. A little embryo squeeze here. And breathe up and down the spine. You can tuck your chin. I'm going to keep my gaze up. I'm always shocked when I look back at the replay at sometimes how close my mouth gets to the mic, and it's like, holy cow. And breathe. And with the thighs tight, you'll feel the breath up and down the spine. And then make your way to your back. And keep your knees bent. We're going to lift one shoulder at a time and tuck the shoulders underneath the torso. Let's lift up into a bridge pose. And then maybe even tuck the arms underneath the torso. Grasp the fingers together. Push the knuckles down as you lift the hips even higher. And maybe come up on your toes here, like you're on high heels. Feel your toes grip the mat. Breathe. Now undo the arms. Slowly come down and reach. I'm still on the balls of my feet. Reach with the tailbone now. It's like you're hollowing out your belly. And when you land, the low back is flat. Now the heels can come down. Open the knees wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. And rock, tick-tock the knees side to side. And draw both knees into the chest, nice and wide, more towards the armpits. Flex the feet. And then reach out there for the feet one more time. And let's take a nice happy baby. Take a peek at the feet, wiggle the toes. And maybe you're rocking here side to side. And find your way to your shape for relaxation. I'm coming up to a seated pose. You find a place for stillness and rest. And just breathing. Feel the breath coming and going. Inhale and exhale. Begin to deepen your breath, and when you deepen your breath, start wiggling those toes. Let the movement of the toes expand into the feet and the ankles, and then let the hands and the wrists match that movement. Notice the similarities. And then good morning stretch. Draw the knees into the chest. Rock a little from elbow to elbow. Finding your way to your right side, resting your head on your arm. Blinking the eyes a few times, and really blink them. If you squeeze and blink, you'll stimulate production of tears. That's a good thing to do throughout your day too, especially if you're staring at a computer screen all day. Just kind of blink the eyes, move them around, look in all directions, and then work your way back up to a seated position. Let's reach up one more time, like you're pulling your hands through the clouds. Grab a little piece of cloud stuff, that fluffy stuff, and pull it down. A little happy cloud. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be. It's starting to look a little cloudy out there. Thank you so very much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me.